Okay. Morning, everyone. My name's Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing my slow life hobbies in my 30s, we're going to be making a raised cedar garden bed, grow herbs in. Because one, I want to grow more herbs, and I want a dedicated space for that. And then two, I have bought way too much cedar with my recent toolshed build, so I need to use some of the cedar up. And also, good morning to you, Mr. Spock. And hello and welcome in. So, I've got some build... Oh, I actually haven't put a link to the build plans. I bought them off Etsy, and if you just search like raised cedar garden bed plans, they're there, available on Etsy. So, but yeah, this is gonna, hopefully, fingers crossed, should be pretty straightforward build. Pretty simple. It's a box. It's a big box that goes outside. So yeah. I will probably need to buy some extra stuff for it, like some landscaping cloth to put in the bottom of it, but I'll get that later. Maybe today? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But, yeah. Let's start by dimensioning some parts. Yeah, we'll start with you guys. Actually, where's my rough ends? The rough ends... Smooth ends are gonna go away from me. And I want the rougher ends closer to here, because we're going to be cutting those off. So I think for this, you're going to be 45 inches. I used 4x4 pallets for my raised garden box. Ah, nice. Lovely. For me, I just have like, I did bad math. This guy did bad math because when I was calculating the number of boards for what I needed for the toolshed build, I wretchedly overbought on lumber. They grow big plants. Well, that's just because you put good soil in them. Like, that's the biggest and most important thing is good dirt. Good dirt grows good plants, and that is like above and beyond like the best thing you can do as like a gardener is take care of the dirt, and the dirt will take care of the plants, and then you'll have good healthy plants. Kind of like the best way to do things. So let's see. Two. Okay, yeah, I need 2 of these 45s. So, pretty straightforward. Oh, that's gonna be one piece. And oh man. This is always the trickiest part of doing this, is where do I put my cut pieces of wood after I cut them, because right now my table saw is full of the wood that needs to be dimensioned, and hopefully I can just play board shuffle, because I think that's what I'm going to do. I also think I will probably put some of my smaller boards on here at some point. But we'll worry about that once we get to that. But yeah. Granted, another thing about the this garden bed is I don't know where I'm gonna stick it. I actually don't have any planned spot for it. I am literally just YOLO, I'm going to build this thing, and then I'll find a spot for it. Let's grab this. gonna be shaking a little bit because I'm gonna be setting some boards on it. The neighbor's horse got loose while I was out the other day. Left over. Oh man! And then a big pile of horse. The long grass must have looked good. Oh man, that's a ultra shenanigan. So for this guy, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna actually want this at 28 inches across. I literally just need to take a thin slice off the end of that. Very thin slice. Should use this. I have this. I'm using it more. Wow. That was the thinnest of slices. So I didn't quite take off all the rough. What a flush in looks like. But I should be... I could not take a lot off this. And I'm fine. Because this is actually a scrap piece from the tool shed build. But yeah, I actually... So... Back when I was a young lad, my uncle would keep his emus at my grandparents' house. And occasionally the emus would escape. And man, do you want to think of a hard creature to chase down? Emus are terrifying creatures to chase down. Very fast. They're fast and they're big birds. Thought you were gonna build an owl's nest out of those scraps. Well, I built one owl's nest. I suppose I could build a second one. I am actually planning on... Oh yeah, I was gonna do some birdhouses. But since birds are already doing their thing, spring's in full swing, that's probably going to be more of a winter project. But for now, we're going to do a raised garden bed. Also, a raised garden bed will consume a lot more lumber. I don't think you guys understand how bad my over lumber stockpile is. Like, I just have a full on like pile. Bat house, perhaps. Bat guano is good for the soil. And so I built a bat house towards the end of 2024. Yes, December 2024. I had it up all last year. I have not gotten any bats in that bat house. So at some point I want to move it, try it in a different spot. See if I can get some bats with it in a different spot. Or who knows, maybe I might make a different one because I did modify the build plans for that bat house because I made it a dual chamber bat house rather than a single chamber. So I don't know if that made like things wonky or whatever. So I might try building a bat house. It's just one of the funny things about building a bat house is, well, when you have bird houses, owl houses, and bat houses, these creatures don't always like to play nice with each other, especially with like owls. Put it close to a light that stays on at night. So that's a great way to attract insects. However, though, bat houses need to be like either south facing or usually someplace where they get a lot of sun. So right now I have the bat house is on the eastern side of the house because bat houses also like to be placed really high up, and I've got it like 15 feet off the ground. And I think it may want to be like higher up, so I'm gonna have to think about things. Or who knows, maybe actually elicit some input from someone else who builds bat houses. Okay. Because I will always happily get advice from someone who knows more than me. Okay. So I need one more of the 28s. So, one of the fun things about today is I've got my cable for the webcam in a very particular spot, so we'll work with it the best we can, though. Okay, that's bogging out. Try it again. A lot happier the second time. So I just did that to clean up my end. Now, anchor that guy down. Now I need 28 inches of board the other way. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Right in front of me. Need a new blade, perhaps? Nah, I got the angle wrong. If the... Well, also one of my issues from time to time is when I'm making my cut, I'll sometimes twist my wrist a little bit, and that causes the blade to turn in the curve, and then it gets hung up. That's pure user error. And at my point. That's one of the things that's really nice about using the speed square is it really helps me out a lot by keeping good control. That's 428 board. Yes! So, I am also doing slight changes of plans. Because reasons. So, what I'm wanting to do is these build plans call for 2x2s and 2x4s. I only have 2x4s, and I don't want to rip my 2x2s down. Well, I don't want to rip the 2x4s down to a 2x2. So I am going to be substituting the 2x2s for 2x4s. Basically, I'm going to make this thing a little bit more beefy than it was originally intended to be built. Which, funny enough, was also something I did for the... trying to think here. I did that for the toolshed build. I went up in board size. Now, 2x2s are fine. It's just these build plans call for 2x2s because 2x2s are cheaper than 2x4s. However, though, I am a spoiled brat when it comes to having access to cheap cedar. So, I can afford to upgrade to the 2x4s. It's almost 420 again. Well, Mr. Spock, you take care of your 420. And I'm gonna take care of dimensioning. Oh, the material. I'm also gonna 4 more of 4. Yes. Yep. Doodles. So now this gets spun around because I'm gonna now have more length here than here. This is where I want my support. Always gotta keep your board supported. How you avoid whoopsies or bad times. We don't like whoopsies or bad times. I'm scared to price wood. Yeah. That's what makes me very thankful to live close to a lumber mill that deals in just cedar. Because since they deal in just cedar, that's all they do. They're experts in it. And I can get it for really good prices, because like a 8 foot of 2x4 material like this would cost, it's $20 a 2x4 at a big box store like a Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. This lumber mill I go to, I can get 8 foot 2x4s of cedar for $6. So that's why when I get these small blocks, I can just call those burnables. Because the price is cheap. And also, like, one of my goals for this year as a woodworker is to upgrade. That's what I like. Free, awesome deal. Oh man, like, I think I pretty much check Facebook Marketplace regularly, looking for reasonably priced lumber. Like if someone bought extra materials for a project, and they do the project and then they want to get rid of the material, I look for those listings. You can get really good deals that way. I figured that was gonna happen. Go with, or that way. But yeah, I like good deals. But it's also fun to work with like slightly more premium products. And for me, this is an area where I wish to grow as a woodworker, is actually do slightly more fancier things. Because a lot of the things I don't do are super fancy. Woo! So I'm wanting to get okay, 41 inches. Okay. Just need to really double check my measurement. Yeah. 2 at 41. Okay. Because for the 2x2, for the ones that were originally going to be 2x4s, those are 45 inches. For my subs, I want 41. So 41 right there. Then I'm also cutting these in such a way where if I need to trim them down later, I can trim them down later. I always like giving myself a little bit of flexibility. And there we go. And that's a 41. Surely, if I stick it next to the 45-inch ones, I will not confuse the two. This is called foreshadowing. Okay, what's my final length on this? So, I have 59 inches. I started work on the work shed. I don't know if it should be 8 foot by 16 or 12 by 16. I don't know if I have enough scrap wood for 12 foot wide. So, the thing you're dealing with is you definitely will not regret it if you build an additional space, but you just now have to do like the actual like math of, do I have the actual material to do the thing I want to do? Which in your case is like have a 12 foot wide shed, which that would actually be pretty nice. Great. And the 16 by, because a 12 foot by 16 is like a 3 by 4 aspect ratio, whereas the 8 by 16 now would be a 1 by 2 aspect ratio. Brandon, you did say you were wanting to do like motorcycle work. I don't do math. I look at the wood pile and figure it out in my head. The classic man way. Well, in that case, you're just gonna have to figure it out in your head, I guess. So, the big thing I want to figure. Okay, so I need 2 more 8-inch long pieces. So, but I need 2 more 28s. Need 1 more 41. So if I do a 41 piece, I end up with this much scrap in between my fingers. Versus if I do 2 28s, that consumes 56 inches of board, and now I'm only losing 2 inches of scrap. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take 2 28 inches out of this, and then that completes my 28s, and then all I got left is 141. So that helps me get the least amount of scrap out of this board. It improves my board utilization. And also, good morning, Dad's Old Shop. How are you doing? Still have to take down the part of the greenhouse to get the final pile of scrap wood. Fun. Oh, man. All sorts of fun projects. Now, granted, since I'm also trying to, like, squeeze as much wood out of this as possible, I'm going to be a little bit tight. Well, I've got this pretty close to its balance point. It's teeter-tottering. Doing good. Volleyball went well. Jammed both my thumbs. But games went well. Good times with good friends. There you go. There you go. My good times with good friends yesterday was picking up picking up trash along a river. Because I'm that sort of dork. Granted, I did pick up by far the heaviest piece of styrofoam that I've ever picked up in my entire life yesterday. Like, and this piece of styrofoam was huge. Like, it was like about yay square, but it was like 4 feet long. It's a huge piece of styrofoam. And me and some of the guys were thinking that the piece of styrofoam came from like an actual river buoy, because it was just a big piece of styrofoam. Good use of time, though. I don't know, man. It was rainy yesterday. Like, I kind of screwed up because with my footwear, I did not leave my shoes at the point where the sun beats down on them in the morning, and they're still just a hair bit wet because it was raining enough to make the grass wet. Did you salvage it? No, we throwing that styrofoam away. Like seriously, that piece of styrofoam took 2 guys to move, with me being one of the guys, and it was hard to move. It was freakishly heavy. It was like an over 100-pound chunk of styrofoam. Which was just like, jeez Louise. That is some beefy styrofoam. Which is another reason why we thought the styrofoam was being used for river buoys, is because it was just so beefy. Also, I don't know what I'm gonna do with a big of a thing of styrofoam. I absolutely have no idea what I would do with just a massive chunk of styrofoam. I gotta get some styrofoam in the ditch down the road. It'd be good to insulate the chicken. Oh. Yeah, the styrofoam I was dealing with was like the white spongy kind. And man, I dislike that stuff. Because it just crumbles to bits. It crumbles into little bits, and little bits get everywhere. I dislike it. I am not into that material. Granted, I'm also a guy who, also during this river sweep, like, the amount of pieces of styrofoam that I picked up that were, say, about roughly the size of this tea bag, I picked up so many little pieces of styrofoam, man. Put it to whatever size you need. Oh, no. Also, cutting styrofoam can be a little bit challenging. Also makes a mess and a ton of microplastics. It's not my jam, man. I used to use it for transporting miniatures to get the cinnamon. I mean, I'm sure you're using, like, old, like, foam coolers. You can use oh, for tabletop terrain too. Again, not your jam. Yeah, I know. I'm a different sort of nerd. I'm the type of nerd that does, like, German-style resource management games. I'd super glue the styrofoam to create a binder to fix motorcycle fairings. Once again, I'm a bicycle guy. not a motorcycle guy. Granted, I do have an e-bike, though. When you're broke, you use what you got. Upscale terrain uses that pink insulation foam. Ah, okay. And it has It's been so long since I've been in like an actual like an actual shop that ran campaigns. Like my best friend, he used to be really big into buying miniatures for a while and painting them. But he's since dropped that hobby, and it's now been like years since I've seen anything like that. But that's the thing with said friend is he's very interesting and cute with how he picks up hobbies. It's very deeply, very hugely invested in them, and then half a year later, he's now got a new hobby. As for me, I'm definitely gonna be sticking to wood. I like wood. I also like trees. It's hard as a stone owner. I know that just shop in Pikeville, Kentucky, a friend and helping advertising for it that does that kind of stuff. Holy smokes, Pikeville, Kentucky has a shop? That's boonies, man. That's like boonies. Wait, is Pikeville Hazard County? No. But I actually do have a friend from Hazard, though. Gosh, Pikeville's one of those places in Kentucky I've never been. It's like Paducah. It's like you got Paducah on the west, which is a dark, scary place where you don't go. And then there's Pikeville in the east, which is a dark, scary place where you don't go. They're real out there. My friend Param's from there, and he's been keeping that scene alive for years. Oh, man. Much respect for him, though. Like, to keep a scene out there, out in places like that, like, that takes community. Most gaming stores has to do the Magic and Pokemon stuff first. Everything else is pretty much secondary. Yeah. I've been to Boston twice. I've been to Boston one time. I actually really enjoyed my time in Boston. Funny enough, when I went to Boston, it was before I was really big into beer. I need to go now that I'm into beer. There's good beer in Boston. Okay, so this is gonna be my final. I'm supposed to see Elton John. Ah, nice. Sam Adams, yes. Old Boston Beer Company. So I've got my 28 inches taken care of. I have the 41 inches taken care of. I now need to get myself some 20-inch ones. So I have these scraps here. We're going to focus on using these smaller bits. Okay. So I'm going to need 2. So these should be my boards. Let me check. Oh yeah. They're 23 inches long, so I can trim off these and be good. I knew this combo would pivot to beer at some point. Well, that's because it's me. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen. I mean, I have Oshi marks, and it's a tree and a beer, because those are my favorite things. So, you better believe that any conversation around here is going to turn to trees or beer at some point. Sure, Boston's are nice. I just can't help make fun of it. Northeastern cities rivalry and all. Oh man. I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to think if Louisville's got any rivalries with anyone, but I don't think we really do. Well, there's sports ball stuff, but that's sports ball. Doesn't apply to me. Now, granted, speaking of sports ball, recently there was the basketball tournament thingamajig, the NCAA thingamajigger, and I will call that the thingamajigger because that's the extent of my emotional investment in it. Well, work made all of us do brackets. I know barely anything about the basketballs other than the ball goes into the hoop. So, I picked all my teams randomly for this bracket. I didn't know, I barely know anything about the teams. And at one point in time, supposedly my bracket was leading, and all my coworkers were angry at me because I just picked teams randomly. I've been to Florida once and went to Universal Theme Park. Took a wasted afternoon at a timeshare for two free 2-day passes. Ooh, oh no, timeshare's scary. Timeshare's very scary. Actually had I think an uncle? I think he had a timeshare at one point. Granted, I've been to Disney. I've been to Disneyland. Well, wait. How does this work? Been to Disney World, which I think is the Florida one. But I've been there once. I crossed that off the to-do list. I really don't see myself ever going back. I'm definitely not a Disney type of person. NCAA brackets are a crapshoot. There's a reason companies do $1 billion price for fully completed brackets. $1 billion price pools. Goodness gracious. We're going to Disney this year, big family trip. Now that the kids are old enough to enjoy it, I'm already exhausted. At what? Looking at the pricing? Because, like the owner of my company, he goes to Disney World. Shucks, I think he goes up nearly every year or something like that. And he's told me about the pricing. And it's like, that's disgusting. Granted, it's not as disgusting as a Disney cruise, though. Apparently the Disney cruises are, like, stupidly expensive. Especially when you compare it to, like, a regular cruise. Which, that's kind of, like, the point of cruising, is, like, cruising's, like, supposed to be, like, reasonably fun stuff for reasonable pricing. Well, dealing with 3 kids and grandparents in Disney for a week in the Florida heat. Oh, I don't envy you, sir. I do not envy. We're very blessed. The grandparents are paying for it. Hell yeah, nice. Oh, that's great. Getting grandparents to pay for the vacation. There you go. That's good stuff. There we go. My grandson just got back from Disneyland, got picked for an all-exclusive day trip. They gave $350 in spending money. Gotta love Canada. I still need to go to Canada. I've seen the Canada. Because the closest I've gotten to international travel is I was visiting my grandma in Detroit, and we went down to one of their like waterfront parks at the Detroit River, and I saw Canada. I've seen Canada. That's like the closest I've done international traveling. Which is something I want to fix at some point. Just my problem is you got to ride the Tron cycle? Nice. Oh no, that's actually... Oh no, that's how you get kids into motorcycles. That's a gateway drug. Canada's nice. I've only seen Niagara Falls, but it's nice. On the Canada side? Ooh. Funny enough, I think my boss at some point this year is going to Niagara Falls. I think. Granted, one of my favorite things I've been hearing about is that apparently nowadays when Americans are traveling overseas, especially to like places in like Europe, apparently Americans are putting like Canadian flag stuff on their luggage to get the Europeans to think that they're not as actual like assholes as actual Americans. Well, America hasn't done good things publicly recently, unfortunately. But I have a very limited degree of control over such things. The tourist trap, of course. Oh man, but the falls are nice and they have a lot of activities around them. Okay. It's true, but it's sad. Sad truth. Okay, so we've done all of our 2x4 dimensioning. Now I get to play with these guys. Which these are my... Actually, wait a second. Ooh, this might... Never been to Niagara Falls. Been to Toronto. So, one thing I will have to kind of keep in mind is with this cedar lumber, I'm actually 6 inches across. Build plans call for 5.5 inches actual dimension. So, I'm going to be a little bit longer, so I might have I'm probably going to have a little bit more extra planting depth, which, fine, good, might just be a little bit different. See, I wanted to visit Toronto, but my wife didn't want to. Actually, I'm just going to assume Toronto is the closest place to Niagara Falls. Like, I have some rough ideas of Canada's geography. Like, I know where things are roughly, but I don't know where things are closely. Because I've never been. I don't think I will. Well, I will eventually go to Canada, I'm sure. It just might be BC, though. It just might be BC. Because I do like bicycling, and there's some really kick-butt mountain biking to be had in BC, so that would be really fun. Granted, mountain biking is one of those things I've really gotten out of, but I don't know if I'm going to get back into it, simply because I don't think I have the time for it. I am, right now in my life, I'm like I am very time-strapped. I've been to every province except Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland. Okay. Okay, so you've basically been everywhere but like the... Oh wait, have you Have you been to, like, the Yukon? Like, like, like the scary parts of Canada? That would be cool if you've actually been to the Yukon. That's like... Those are boonies. Those are boonies if you've been to the Yukon. Okay. So, let's... No territories, though. Ah! Has not been to the territories. You know what? I'm gonna trim... I'm an 1/8 of an inch too big. So I'm gonna trim a little bit off. Because... these pieces are gonna be like the sides of like the actual planter box, and... Are these? These are gonna be the sides, or are these gonna be the slats? These are gonna be the slats I probably should trim. Either way, we trim this now. We trim it. Did not cut full through. I keep getting hung up on this thing. So I'm gonna flip it around and to see I have a little bit of a hump there. So I think the guard's catching on the end. Yeah. And that is as close as it's gonna get. There's a bar in Whitehorse that has a drink where you kiss a real pickled human toe while drinking it. I think I've heard of that bar. I think I've heard of that place. They put the toe in the drink. Yeah, and isn't it like the toe from like the actual like Gold Rush days or something? I think I've saw that thing on like a travel program. I have definitely heard of that. Oh snap. Oh, what do I want to do? Oh, I think... because I have some of these that are longer, some are shorter. But I need 21 and 23 inches. I just cut my first 20. How many? Okay, so I want 4 21. So the 21s are going to definitely be part of the sides. And since... you know what? Since these are technically offcut scraps, I don't think I should worry about my board utilization. Because if I don't want to keep these around, guess where they're going to end up? I got 2 words for you. Fire and pit. Cut that line a little bit. Now, some people might look at all that and be like, that's a good scrap, Sugi. And Sugi will look at him and go, there's plenty more cedar where this has come from. Not worried about it. Extra. Wanted to be a little bit extra. Dad's old shop being like, damn it, Sugi. I have too much cedar. But had that problem. But, I mean, like, seriously, like, I did wretchedly. So, when I was doing the math for the number of boards I needed, I counted my cut piece list, which the sides of the shed, I only needed, I think, like 35-inch boards. Well, I bought the amount in 8-foot boards, so because I think I was able to cut like at least, yeah, that's why these are long, because I was able to get out of one 8-foot board, I was able to get 2 boards for the sidewalls, plus a good sized scrap like this. And well, I'm now absolutely awash in cedar lumber, and I don't know. I might take a tape measure to some of these, and if they're longer than 10 inches, I might keep them. But anything under 10 inches is getting burned, or it's gonna get bucket destined burned. So for a lot of my scrap material, oh no, I talk about this a little bit much. So, guys, I know this might be a little. You can't make cedar shims. I can make cedar shims. So, I'm not sure if you guys are ready for this conversation, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to fully articulate my thoughts on this. But, so, now we get to talk about the computer science of woodworking. And you might be like, what does computer science have with woodworking? And the answer is caches. So, in computer science, computers, like the computer you're watching this on, the computer streaming this on, there are things called caches, which are places where a computer takes a memory thing and sticks it somewhere and says, the cache, here, hold this for a little while. I'm going to need another piece of memory from somewhere else to work on it. So, and the thing is, the way that computers are designed is that they have caches, because you have like your hard memory, which is your slow memory, and then you'll have actual caches on the CPU and motherboard itself, which is like really quick memory, where if the computer is like, okay, I'm working with this piece of information, I'm now going to store this piece of information for a second, grab this piece of information, work on it, and then I go back to this. Caches are what helps computers be efficient with their memory usage. I have caches for my woodworking. So, when something hits one of my scrap buckets, it's basically in the recycle bin of the computer, where it's like, okay, this is here, it's still in storage, I can grab this later. So like a lot of time when I use like a backing material, like underneath my drill press when I'm trying to drill something to keep from blowing out my workpiece, I grab it from one of those buckets. I have a couple of 5-gallon buckets, and those 5-gallon buckets are a cache of scraps that I can pull from if I need like small scraps, like how Dad's old shop pointed out, if I needed to make some cedar shims or I needed something really small for like a project, I can pull it from that cache before it gets burnt. But if the cache gets full, then the bucket gets burned. And then that empties the cache out, and then as I do more woodworking projects, I refill my cache. Didn't quantum computing solve that problem? Yes. And that's kind of one of the big hypes around quantum computing. Is how much more like instantaneously and fast it is. But however, that is just like far, that is like far, 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 far out of my league and what I know. Like I know how computers work. If my computer gets angry, I can troubleshoot it with the help of another computer, i.e. another search engine. But I am no expert. And I also use caches in other ways. For example, I do keep some lumber stored in my shop. That's a quick access cache, because these are my tools. So if wood's my memory, tools are like my CPU. My workbench is like my CPU. Probably only like a few people on the internet who care about caches in relation to like woodworking. But like, so my actual like lumber storage in my basement, my actual lumber rack, I actually call that my deep storage, because I have to walk into the back corner of my shop to access that lumber, versus my excess cedar wood here. It's literally, so you see that wall down there? That wall right there? I have a giant pile of cedar lumber on the other side of that wall. I think garbage collectors is a better analogy. Oh, welcome in, Haggle. Actually, yes and no. So the thing is with like caches and how I handle lumber and off scraps and things is, especially with scraps. With scraps, they go into a storage. They basically go into a recycle bin. And if I need them for a project before that bin fills up, I will pull that lumber for the project. Whereas if that bin fills up and I haven't needed those scraps for any projects, well, guess what? That lumber is going to get burned in the fire pit, because cedar also does smell. It not only smells amazing to work with, it also smells amazing when you burn it. And I'm going to make a cut. Because I feel like it's also been a while since I've done anything, because I've been ranting about the computer science of woodworking. But that is also a big thing that I do as a person, is I will happily salvage ideas from other trades, other areas of the world to improve a thing that I'm doing. Does it burn up fast being oily and all? Kind of. Funny enough, I actually did do actually burned like a whole bucket of cedar a little while ago. However, though, I don't think it necessarily burns super quickly, because when I do my scrap wood burns, not only does the bucket have like this chunky scrap, it also, I do sweep my sawdust into it. And so between the chunks and the sawdust, it does make it a little bit hard for me to get good airflow in the burn. So it does, I feel like it tends to burn a bit longer. I do have to do some math. I have to figure out if I have enough roof sheet metal. Yes. Do the math for the, to be clear, I mean garbage collection, all garbage collection in the programming sense. Okay. Funny enough, I actually, see, that's the thing, like, I don't know a lick of programming. I don't know code, I just have a rough idea of how computers works. also it's also a really good book I read called It was called Algorithms to Live By: The Computer Science of Human Decision Making. And the point of the book was how to use the tools that people who tackle computer programming problems, because pretty much any computer programming problem is how to work with pieces of information. A lot of the tools and techniques that programmers have come up with to help computers work with information, well, we human beings are constantly taking in information and having to make decisions based off of it. Well, for example, in my case, I'm having to use a tape measure to figure out lengths that I need for this project. Or I'm like taking in how the garden's doing. Like right now, my brassicas have been pretty slow to grow, which I think they probably need some nitrogen. There's like, man, like, I feel like I could rant about this, but also on the other hand, it's very much on the edge of my ability to eloquently speak on it. Rust is God's holy language. That's why I smoke weed. His book comes in and BS is ignored and forgotten. There you go. Why worry about garbage in, garbage out when you can just not worry about your output? That's certainly a way to do things. There is nothing wrong with that. Granted, I do have to double check to see if I've made that long. By 16th? I'll accept the 16th. Actually, probably closer to 32, but then tolerance. So, I think that does me on my 21. Now I get to worry about the 23s. Oh, holy smokes. What am I doing? Oh man, I might have to pick up the pace here, guys. I need 7 of the 23s. I need 7. But now, since we're doing 23-inch pieces, scraps are going to get smaller. But you know what? We've taken, because technically this piece of wood here is a scrap. This was a scrap from the tool shed build. But now we're gonna scrap it down to the point where this is our, like, essentially our near final scrap. But I don't know, because these will go into a 5-gallon bucket at the end of today, and we'll see how long they last in there. Yep, flip things around. Be my perennial problem with projects is having enough storage for my work pieces, because I gotta have storage for the work pieces that haven't been dimensioned yet, and then I have to have storage for the work pieces I'm actually working with. A lot of board shuffling. A lot of board shuffling. Okay, 23 inches. You know what? It's a good Sunday. Really good Sunday. And there's actually a project coming up that I might actually be able to use a fair amount of these scraps. And that is, I want to work building a French cleat wall system for an area of my shop. Now, I have yet to fully prep that space. I'm in the middle of prepping that space, but it's not 100% ready for the wall just yet. But that project will happen. Because I think with the rate things are going, that project will happen beginning of May. But yeah, the garbage collector finds memory that's no longer being used and feeds it to the operating system. In Rust, there's no garbage collector because all memory is owned by a context. Oh, neat. See, I'm a fairly well-read. I at least like to think of myself as a fairly well. You had no idea what that meant. Essentially, yes. I understand the first part in the sense that the garbage collector finds memory that is no longer being used and frees it to the operating system. But I don't necessarily know what is meant by all memory is owned by a context. Which, based off my limited understanding, my guess would be that like all memory gets a like a priority, like a certain like number. So well, like when you're doing something, you clean up after yourself. Oh, okay. So like, or like how after like stream today, I will pick up all this lumber, store it, because all the scraps will go into one of my scrap buckets. Because whereas, well, today all today's scraps will go into a scrap bucket. These boards, when these boards were scrap, they're too big for scrap buckets. Go. No, that's my clean surfaces that way. Now, granted, so here's what boards look fresh, and here's what UV light does to Cedar. Eventually, yeah, but you're cleaning up at the end or when you need more space instead of as you go. So that's more like okay. So garbage collection is me picking the stuff up off the floor soon after it hits the floor. Versus in Rust, I just clean up after I'm done. Which is generally how I do things, is I clean up. Like, There are times when working on projects where cleaning as you go is an advantage. I would say probably like when I did the backwards, but yes. Okay, so basically how I think. Basically how I think. Okay, backwards, but yes. And that's because, well, I'm a lefty, so I usually think backwards, but somehow correctly. I'm used to that. I had a thought, and now I wish to complete it. Oh yeah, like when I was doing the toolshed build, I pretty much had to stack these. So is this working? Yeah, I did it for some of these. Some of these I had to stack while I was working because of how big the scrap pile would get. Whereas, like, today's scrap pile, like, it's just, like, this small little bit of area. Like, very Hakuna Matata. Not worried about it. In terms of the amount of space it takes up. Versus if you're working with, like, boards of this size, your scrap pile becomes a lot bigger in scope. And oof. Big scrap piles can, well, take up floor space, and unfortunately, I don't have the biggest shop. I have a pretty alright size shop. I love the size of my shop. Because problem is if my shop was any bigger, I might buy more tools for it. The size limits my ambition. Because if, like, shucks, if I had like a full-on like 40 by 60 foot pole barn, holy smokes, I could buy big tools and do big projects. But now we're just building a raised cedar planter, which is still a fun project. Woohoo! And that completes the 23 inchers. So, work on some of our bigger wood. So, these pieces, these are going to basically be the long side of the raised bed planter. So first off, I'm going to just do a quick little clean cut. Clean up my edge. Just makes a nice clean edge. And then I can bring my board out. And now we can actually... 45? 45. Problem is, the board's underneath the workbench. Because I need that room. Didn't do the best at planning out the amount of room I need. You know what? It works. It's fun. Like, I remember back when I was like kind of first getting into this, or there's been a couple of things and projects and what have yous that I've gotten really obsessed with chasing perfection. Man, there's so many times where you just gotta look at what you're doing, what you're working on, be like, you know what, this gets the job done, gets it done safely, and that's fine. Like, fine is okay. Fine works. fine equals done. And that's a good place to be. You never stop striving for perfection, you simply redefine it. Well, you never stop improving. Like, you always want to get better and better and better, but you don't let the chasing of perfection stop you from moving a project forward or working with whatever you got. Like, say, for today, like some of my, like I know for a fact that some of my cuts are off by a 1/16, an eighth of an inch. Craving is too active of a verb. Yeah, but at 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch off for a piece. This is a thing that's going to go outside and is going to have dirt stored in it. Who cares? This isn't going to be off in such a way where it is in my house and I'm looking at it every day. Granted, I have also built things that are in my bedroom that I see every day, that I see gaps on. You know what? It's fine. Like, it's fine. Also specifically talking about my headboard. The headboard I built for my bed. But you know what? I built that out of sassafras that's thick enough to where if I want to rework it someday, that's an option. But for now, it keeps me from knocking my head into my wall. So, it does its job today. Okay. Woo! And sawdust is there. But we are actually nearing the end of the saw cutting portion of today. Because yeah, I just got 2 more pieces to cut, and we'll be done cutting. Well, okay. Well, that was actually nice to see. So my guard does occasionally hang up. So that is really good to know, because I thought that's what was happening versus it binding. Because if it binds, there's a possibility of kickback, whereas if it just guard just catches, then I just have to finagle it, be uncut. But yeah, I actually still have trim pieces I need to cut, but we might do that later, because we can just cut them later. Because there's actual notes on the build plan saying you might have to like fine cut these. And the problem with us cutting at 45 inches, we're very teeter-tottery. But fine, that's what a hand is here for. There. But yeah. We're getting real close to actually getting to play a symbol. I love the funny noises my HVAC makes sometimes. It does make. good. And there we go. That gets us all of our rough pieces for assembling. The only exception is the trim. And I love being me. So, since I want to... because this thing is going to spin around a lot. Because we're going to be building on this. Taking all that and just pushing it off to the side, get it out of the way. So, I have... oh, when this house was built, oversized cedar was used for the frame. Oh, nice. Nice. My house was built in the 90s, so my house is like standard 90s construction, but which is good, it's just not great. So, to be perfectly honest, I have to use the little homesteader's room because, well, I've been drinking water like a fiend and tea also, so I'm gonna throw the BRB screen on and I'll use the restroom, maybe clean up a little bit, and then we'll start assembling. So yeah, see you here soon. Okay, I'm back. And sorry, Mr. Spock, I cannot... well, I'm not going to grab a beer now. And there's reasons for that. There's also been reasons why I've been consuming a lot of water. And that is... yesterday... I donated blood. So... my blood volume is down right now. So, a little bit of beer goes very far right now. Because I basically have very reduced tolerance. 21. Thanks for the pro tip. Yeah. Yeah, I'm being serious. Like, if you donate blood, like, your tolerance goes down. Because whenever I donate blood, the Red Cross takes 1 pint of blood, which is about 10% of my blood volume. Slosh Sugi. I might have beer later today. I'm just not gonna have beer now because I'm trying to build a thing. Now, if I had my full tolerance, hot dog, I could probably build and drink and be fine. But I am lacking. I am lacking in substance. For the organization known as the Red Cross has stolen it from me. Well, actually, wait a second. Do I say stolen or extracted? They've extracted it from me. We'll use extracted. Kind of make them sound like bad guys. Because even though they do good work and all that fun stuff, holy smokes, they annoy me. Because I actually didn't schedule my blood donation as soon as I was eligible to do so, because I was coming off my flu, and I wanted to, recover from that before I started putting additional strain on my body. And boy, oh boy, the Red Cross was like, "Hey, Sugi, it's time for a blood donation, buddy." I'm like, yes, I'm aware, but it's like, I've had stuff happen, man. I've had stuff happen. And I want to recover from the stuff happening before I donate it again. So, that is why I am also just pounding tea. Folks, after my blood donation, I went to my sister's place for my nephew's B-Day party, and I did buy a 6-pack of Heineken 00. And for the 6 hours I was at my sister's house, I destroyed the whole 6-pack of Heineken 00. Just because my body was like, I want fluids. My body was just like, I want fluids so much. Fluids, man. My body was starved for fluids. And probably sugar too. Yeah, I think that's another reason why my body really wanted the Heineken 00s was just because there are some carbs in it. So it was like, ooh, carbs, give me. I love it when I get reminders that drilling in the end grain can be fun. And by fun, I mean a little bit challenging. Not terribly, but... When you travel, you're supposed to give blood and then immediately get on the internet. The higher the better. Then the expensive flight drinks go further. It's illogical. Oh god. I'm not sure how I feel about that, man. Just because the drinks go further doesn't mean that's a good idea. Go. And there we go. That's a reasonable butt connection. You can fill your water bottle with vodka. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. A little bit off. But we'll fix it as we go around. But this is also why it's a joke. Drunk flying sucks. I've never drunk flown. I haven't flown since 2015. So. Been a long. Woo! Can it be worse than regular flying? I don't know. Box making. They want to travel, aren't you, buddy? Just hold still. Well, we did it in high school. Oh man. See, this is the thing with me. I am a very boring person. I never got drunk in high school. I didn't even have my first beer until after I was 21. Not when I turned 21, after I turned 21. Hate to break it to you guys, man, but Uncle Sugi isn't the most interesting person. Hey, Lord, I've lived it. No cat juggling from Sugi. No. Sorry, guys, man. I have not lived an exciting, high-octane life. I like spending my time at home doing my hobbies. Sort of like what I'm doing here today. Hint. Use leather gloves. Oh. Oh man. I'm using my cordless drill like I'm drunk though. Well, better keep drinking tea then. Okay. Let's see if we can do these. Yeah, Jumbo. Huzzah! Piece of wood. Insert. And that's the fun thing about this part is these boards are reasonably enough in where the friction just kind of holds everything, which is nice. I love it when... How much crime would you say you've done hypothetically? Let's see. I've done trespassing, but I feel like trespassing is like the one crime that is like the bingo free space card. I have not consumed any recreational drug outside the law. I haven't even... Have I stealed? I haven't... So I have technically stealed lumber from Lowe's because I think the person at the cash register once just didn't care, and they rung up my plywood as the wrong thickness. And it was cheaper than I was expecting, and I just rolled with it. So I have theoretically stolen lumber. Depends, someone's firm, yeah, military base, not for... Well, so... I did go into an abandoned home while I was young, and I will also add that I was under the influence of teenagers, because that's the thing that happens when you're a young kid, and then you start hanging around teenagers, and teenagers have a lot higher risk tolerance than you kid of 10 or 11 years old. And yeah. So, military base, no. Mild trespassing, yes. Funny enough, so one of the things about them dang teenagers. Yep, them dang teenagers. Sucks. Oh yeah, so when I was actually young, about probably about the height of my workbench, there was a plastic, like I was with my mom going through the checkout at, I think, a grocery store, and there was like a little plastic bread tie, the little plastic things on the end of a plastic bag of bread that holds the plastic bread closed. I saw one of those like just laying somewhere in like the register area, and I grabbed it, and I got chewed out. Well, my mom didn't find out I grabbed the thing until we got back to the car, and I got chewed out for that. And that's kind of how I never really got into stealing things. It's because I got chewed out that one time for theory. I mean, I did technically steal a little plastic clip that they probably did not care about. I used to glom some used carbide tips at a workplace. I could get about 2.5 pounds out every break time. 3 times a day, the recycling place paid big bucks for it. I stole a beer last Christmas. Oh man, I'm so boring. Oh wait. So, well, actually I don't know how intentional... Okay, so once again, the intent of whether or not a thing is a crime or not can vary, but I have also in Whitney Place made engine parts. Oh, the labor tax on them copper. Oh my god. Damn it. Oh yeah, other carbide isn't copper, but same plot line. Yeah. I also have committed like mild tax fraud. Like, when I got my grandma's 401k money, I didn't report it to the IRS because I was so used to, like, my bank sends me paperwork for the interest rate on that I make off my like savings account, you know? Like, I get paperwork for all the various things I need to file for. Well, the 401k provider just sent out just a notice to me with the distribution, but didn't actually send me a dedicated like tax form during tax time, and I got shenaniganed on that. So I had to pay back taxes on that, but I eventually paid what was due. Oh, sweet. That drew it in. Nice. But yeah, I think that's the biggest crime I've committed. Which is technically the same crime as Al Capone, so, you know what? Maybe Sugi is a bit cooler than he thinks he is. Which is not true. I'm not that cool, guys. Actually, have I even done a fire during a burn ban? I'm trying to think about that one. Have I done a fire during a burn ban? I want to put that one under maybe. I might have done a fire pit during a burn ban. I gotta get more tea going. That's a good amount of crime. I've talked to people who haven't done like any crime. Those people are weird. I can only imagine like how high strung those people. Like, how high strung do you have to be to like not commit any crimes? I've definitely done arson by mistake. Oh man. That's a scary one. Thankfully, I spent a fair amount of time out in the countryside, so I literally... Well, in a way, I actually got encouraged to commit arson because if you have like a metal fence line where it's just like metal wire fence, metal T-posts, if you want to take care of the weeds that grow up around the fence line, you just wait for a reasonably dry day and you just go out there with some lighters and you just burn the fence line. We were all teenagers once. Sometimes a whoopsie becomes a whoopsie doopsie. I mean, hey, as long as no one got hurt, I'd say you're reasonably fine. That's the scariest whoopsie doopsie. Thankfully, yeah, I've pretty much been on the receiving end of those. Like one time I remember as a kid, I was hanging out with another kid, and he was digging a hole. And I wanted to see how much progress he made on digging this hole. So I literally stuck my head over the shovel as he was coming up, and the tip of the D-blade hit me square in the head. And it didn't make a big cut, but the thing is, with a head wound, it bleeds a lot. So I basically ran to the house and had to make my mom very concerned for a little while. Yeah, none of my crime outside kids fights hurt other people. They also had a type of oil that was similar to Lucas oil. I'd sneak out some in a Mountain Dew bottle every day. Security even checked me once. The pop bottle looked like a Mountain Dew, so no problem. I take it that was like a type of cutting oil or something. Also, sorry I'm not working on my project. I'm busy pouring tea. Oh, I'm pouring hot water for tea. Tea. The car he's driving burnt all. One time my brother threw a big rock over the car and it hit me in the head. Ooh. Ouch. Okay. I need to move this thing. It's actually gonna be a nice little sized. Be a nice little sized project. Not too big, not too small. Just right. I love just right size project. I hate it when a project gets stupid. Yo, rock fights were the best as a kid as long as you followed the fingertip rule. Honestly, should I tell? My skull was never the same shape again. Now, I would say there was one time in school where... Okay, well, that did not work like I thought it would. There was one time in school where I did instigate a fight. And I fought back. And I got suspended for a few days, and it wasn't a fingertip size rock. Oh gosh. And you know what? I got rewarded for it because my mom was like, "Oh, Sugi stood up for himself for once. Hey Sugi, while you're suspended from school, I'm gonna buy you a Bionicle." So I technically did a wrong thing and got a Bionicle out of it, so. Oh, that's the fingertip rule. Yeah, if you work with small enough rocks. I can see that keeping things reasonably safe. Okay. Didn't dig out the side. I was a little bit concerned about that. So you figured any time off you wanted? No, that was a one-time event. So one of the embarrassing things about that instance was after the fight got broken up, I actually cried, and I don't know why I cried. It wasn't like physical pain cried. It was just like, I don't know. I was just like so deeply unnerved that I cried. And it was technically in class, so it was just embarrassing. Marvel at my stupidity for nearly severed the hand tendon chopping wood. I'm fine, panic averted. That's nice though. As a parent, you'd be proud of your kid to big feelings for that. Yeah. Big feelings for a little guy. Man, that's just like that's just all sorts of. But also, you'll dig good. Good on you for not hurting yourself. Bionicles, that brings back memories. Probably the best use of an All-American Reject song in a commercial. Oh my gosh. Bionicles were like... The Lego company with Bionicles figured out how to make it take a kid's toy and apply it to make teenagers. But get teenagers interested in what essentially is a kid's toy. Do you remember Cliffhanger? Is that a show or a particular, or is that like a toy? This cliffhanger's not ringing any bells off the top of my head. Granted, funny enough, I actually a show. Okay, then I don't, because I do vaguely remember the Bionicle show, because they did make an actual like show for it. I take it you didn't watch PBS. Not as a teenager. As a kid, I did watch PBS. Because, so, speaking of things that some people would find embarrassing, yeah, I was a Barney kid. I was big on Barney as a youngster. I didn't like that show. Only one story out of the 3 was good. So I watched a lot of Barney as a kid, and I did watch Sesame Street. But yeah, I think out of like a lot of the standard PBS programming, it was mostly when I was young. Definitely when I was like less than the height of my workbench. But yeah, speaking of fun tendon injuries, after I drill this hole, my dad. Oh, you were one Barney kid. Yes, because like Barney was like the hype when I was a kid. Or at least I felt like it was the hype. Because Barney's like the... Like, Barney was like the kind of, words. Gateway drug. Barney was the gateway drug for getting into dinosaurs. Which, as a kid, I was a huge dinosaur kid. I was a Thomas the Tank Engine kid. Nice. My nephew is... He likes Thomas. I'm kind of amazed you didn't turn out a furry. Honestly, I subscribe that to the fact I did not spend a lot of time on internet communities while I was in college and high school. Probably how I did not turn out into a furry. Like Barney, he was always drunk. Remember my friend group and I just mocking Barney. I mean, hey, like my childhood, like Barney was like little kid, and then you like grow up a little bit, and then you actually get like into actual like big dinosaur, like actual like dinosaurs, and then you watch Jurassic Park, and it's like the best movie ever. Thomas is great. There's a whole story arc that's an analogy for the Holocaust. Oh man. Like, there's a... I don't get what it is about kid shows that causes them to have, like, really great writing, but for some reason, a lot of kid shows have just, like, really good writing. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why the kids get shows with good writing. When I was a kid, I made a meme of the man in the hat telling Hitler he was causing confusion until I indicated if it was matter living in color that had Barney. Also, arcs where engines that misbehave and get repurposed into water props are bricked up. Oh man, that's dark. That's really dark. Oh gosh. Oh man, Thomas the Tank Engine is no joke. Fair, he did look like Churchill. Oh my goodness. Kid shows, man. Kid shows. They hit different. Sucks nowadays, like my niece is a Bluey kid, like, and holy smokes, dude, holy smokes, people love Bluey. Little kids love Bluey, which is fine. It's fine because it's like cool. If I need to get a present for the niece, I just get her a Bluey thing, and then she's just like, "Oh, it's a Bluey thing," and it's, yes, good uncle. Or there's one where the mountain engine derails, falls off the mountain, and just dies. Its stories hold up well. Yes. The tank engine was the peak of meme culture. It's only gone downhill since. Honestly. One of my favorite, like, instances of Thomas the Tank Engine and, like, meme culture was seeing someone make a Skyrim mod where they replace the dragons with Thomas the Tank Engine. And the funny thing about that is, I thought that was, like, the most hilarious thing ever, and I've never played Skyrim. I have never played Skyrim. Which, some of you might remember that, well, I'm not that much of a gamer. Like, I play some video games, but I just don't play a lot of video games. It was great. It was also an inspiration for Choo Choo Charles. Again, I am a guy who likes just listening to music and working on projects. I'm an exceedingly normal human being. Maybe. Am I normal? No, I'm not normal. I'm a VTuber. Can't be normal if you're a VTuber. Getting distracted by thoughts. Damn you, thoughts, don't distract me. It's a horror game, you're trying to survive the attacks of an eldritch stray. Huh. That sounds interesting, but also deeply scary. Like, ooh, eldritch being. That goes Choo Choo. Oh dear. Ooh, legs. Ooh, this is actually going to be a good use for scraps. Let me grab some scraps. Give me offcuts. There we go. Offcuts. Star Charlins. Also, Ringo Starr trained with spider legs? Oh god. Or was that another show? Yeah, Charles Starr and Alex Baldwin. Wait, Alex Baldwin actually rings bell. In woodshop, we would always tape the drill bit to the depth we wanted. See, that's a good way to get the depth you want. Whereas for me, so I know for my 2.5 inch screws, I can just basically go the full depth of my bit, and I'll be fine. Also, this is a Cedar lumber outdoor project. The commitment to quality here is low. Quality, what's that? throw those pieces of wood around. Okay. So, I gotta build legs. Okay, so I need to find my 28-inch board. Oh, hey, look! 28-inch boards. Here's some. You pre-drill the screws? Yes! Because Cedar splits badly. Cedar loves to split, so. And because Cedar loves to split, I always pre-drill screws. So, we're going to be doing leg assembly. Yeah, so we're going to still be using our 2.5-inch screws. That's all fine and good. Fine and dandy. So, scrap blocks. And this is also a really good instance of a use of scrap lumber. I don't know, I use pine. Oh. Well, Cedar in particular will split badly. Like, really badly. So, for building our legs, we're going to take one of our pieces of 28, and then we're just going to do this and make an angle thing. These little blocks of wood, they hold this here. And because they're the same thickness as this piece here, they hold this piece in a really nice position. Because when you can use work pieces to support work pieces, you get to get out of... You don't have to worry about shims. It's nice. Nice not having to worry about shims. So... we're gonna do 3 holes. Pine is fine. Love me some pine. Well, Dad's old shop likes watching Rex Kruger videos. Which I don't blame him, because I watch Rex Kruger videos anyway. I mean, I do too. We do not tool shame here. We do not material shame here. Whatever works, works. Whatever is within your budget is the best material to use for the project. Or I should maybe make a joke about how the fact if you're not building out of mahogany, you're doing something wrong. But and again, I'm not building an outdoor project out of mahogany right now. Granted, I do want to get my hands on some mahogany and build a project out of that. Pallet wood. Yeah. Nothing wrong with pallet wood. Woo! Leg. Leg. Now, because of peculiars, because I have built legs this way before, is when I assemble one off like one side, I always build another one from the other side of my blocks, because otherwise I don't end up with both left and right sides. Guess how I know that? Know that through experience. Many a project has been... I get legs built and I start putting the thing together and I'm like, wait a second. This isn't turning out how I expected. Why isn't it not turning out how I expected? Oh wait, Sugi has dyslexia. 100%. It's 2026. We ain't keeping crafting. Crafting is crafting. The more the better. Yes! More crafting, the better. Whether it's pallet wood, whether it's cedar wood, regardless of the wood. Making stuff is still making stuff. It's a fun time. It is a productive way to spend your time. And it's also a fun way to spend your time. And you end up with a thing at the end of the day. Man, it's like when you do... Honestly, it's like one of the reasons why I really like doing cooking streams, because it's like... Regardless of how the cooking stream goes, I have food at the end of the stream. No? So it's like... I'm gonna be happy. And the day's end of the stream is gonna be like, I'm gonna have a whole planter. Now the main question right now is whether or not I'm gonna get fancy with it and put on the trim, but we'll just see how it goes. We're gonna be playing it by ear on that. Tape measure, help me find my 28 boards. Hey! Here you are, buddy. Getting lighter out, rain stop, might get some outside work done. Yeah, good old outside work. Shucks, yesterday was like dreary and rainy, all that stuff, all that type of stuff wasn't really great for outside work. Whereas today is like sunny, cool. Like I actually had to turn my heat on this morning. So I'm definitely going to be doing some outside work today. I've got sunflowers. I actually have sunflowers I need to plant. I grow some sunflowers so that way the birds have something to eat on. 3D printing, blacksmithing, sewing, crocheting, cooking, physical arts, all types of crafting. You end up with a physical thing. It's crafting. Yeah. It's actually kind of neat to see how much crafting has taken off in our digital age. Because overexposure to like computers and like the digital internet and all that stuff has just wanted people to be like, man, I just want to like touch physical things. People just being like, yeah, I want a physical hobby. I wanted to like interact with the world. Because the world's neat. I mean, the world bites sometimes. I mean, guess who zipped screws into his fingers before? This guy zipped screws into his fingers. People still want to touch and own stuff, just not rent it per TOS. Oh god. Does that include craft weed? Yes. Because I do consider gardening a type of crafting. It's just gardening is a type of crafting where you're working with a living organism, which is a plant. Now, getting into like a little bit of crafting jokes. So I was once doing a tree planting for the city. The city has been doing a lot of they would actually use a ditch witch with an auger. Basically, it's like a little excavator machine that has an auger bit on the end, and they'll use the auger to pre-drill holes for like trees. Like the auger's like 3 feet across. Big thing. Big thing powered by a diesel motor. And me and another volunteer were hand digging a hole, and we were just making jokes about how this is a handcrafted artisanal hole, even though it's just a hole. Just a hole that we're gonna plant a tree in. Just because so many people, because there has been like a lot of things in like like especially like in like I guess hipster culture is typically what is typically where I see it, where it's like some company is like, we have product X that is artisanally handcrafted or something like that, and it's just like, well, that's cool, but that's John Henry, he could hammer. Oh man. Sweet joys of working on things. Like, I know I've probably have mentioned this way too many times before, but like, I got into making stuff. Amazing how relevant that folktale is in modern day. Don't, like, so many folktales were just like, this stuff is like generally like good ideas. Or like, hey, this is information that's good for like handling day-to-day life. And it's useful. Okay. So with that, I remove my blocks, remove my drill bit. Don't want you to lose that drill bit. Because guess what, guys? How come you don't have any mods, Sugi? Good question. So, I don't have any mods because I usually don't get a lot of troublemakers in the stream, so I just don't need mods. At least not yet. Because, I mean, thing is, not really a whole lot of people watch me, so I don't have to deal with troublemakers much. So, it just hasn't been an issue. Since it hasn't been an issue, I haven't had to worry about it. I mean, that's actually one of the fun things about being like a smaller like content creator and such is Sugi likes to crack the whip on the trolls. No, funny enough is I just ignore them, and that usually takes care of them. Is like, when it comes to trolls, I feel like the best way to handle a troll is ignore them. Trolls are just attention-starved people, and it's just ignore them. Go away. Ah, pick you. Pick one at random. Pick a box, any box. All boxes are good boxes. Yeah. How do I want to attach this? Fish. So, want that to be reasonably flush. And okay, if I do that, good protest music, good because they're singing what they're singing about is timeless. Yeah. Yeah, or because the problems they're singing about are still acute and relevant. Oh no. Think of it, I don't think there's any troll activity here. Yeah. I got into this idea with a friend, listening to Rise Against songs from 20 back. Oh man, Rise Against. Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to some of their songs later today. Except me and my bad jokes. Yeah, exactly. But Mr. Spock's like the only real troublemaker around here. Like, just don't have stuff to worry about. Like, life's good. Oh, I gotta put this on the other side. Push. Theoretically, we're putting trim on it. Their music still hits. Their song with the music video about Hurricane Katrina hits art. Oh gosh. I don't. Oh man. Like. Hurricane Katrina is one of those things where I have very mixed feelings about remembering that it helps. Oh god. Because shucks. Like Hurricane Katrina, as far as I am aware of just generally right now, was the most significant hurricane in my lifetime. It was very significant. Weird butterfly effect. That situation is what helped me convince my wife to breastfeed our baby. Ow. So, my big dislike for Katrina is the singular event that's responsible for the bioethanol business in the US. The whole reason why 10% of the gasoline, 10% of the gas that's sold in the US is ethanol is because of Hurricane Katrina. Because when Hurricane Katrina happened, it knocked out so much oil refining capacity that the US wanted to have a more resilient supply chain. So they turned to ethanol to diversify the supply chain of oil. Which, in doing so, took so much corn off the international market that at the start of new millennium 2020, well, the 20s, the 2000s, once we went into the new millennium, we had the UN created what were called the World Development Goals. Oh no, wait. It was significant not just because of the severity of the destruction, but the government reaction compounding problems in disaster recovery. It was the first major disaster oversaw by FEMA. Didn't know that about gas. That's interesting. So, yeah. And that's also why all the gas caps in the US will say, like, you can't use flex fuel, which is 20% ethanol. If it's 10% ethanol mixed with gas, you can use it in a standard gas engine. No problems. But UN had a development goal made back at the start of the millennium, 26 years ago, to end world hunger. And up until Katrina, we were making the number of people out in the world who were hungry, that number was going down, and it was going down a lot every year until Katrina happened and the US pulled all that corn out of the global food supply chain, and the number went back up. Hurricane Katrina is the biggest thing that has contributed to global hunger. Well, it's the greatest single weather event that has contributed to world hunger in my lifetime. Which is wild. I showed her footage of problems stuck in desperate to airdrop supplies not likely to happen where we live. Not a position we want to be in with a baby. It's only gonna get worse. Oh man. Damn it, I don't want to talk about world problems. I just want to build things, man. Look! Wood. Remember, solve your wood-based problems with a stick of wood. Sugi solved the world's problems in real world. No! I don't want to solve the world's problems in Hello Zerzon. I can just... I don't want to solve the world's problems in real time. Wait. Maybe. Damn you, bench vice. There we go. Come on. You guys get that. Review that way. Okay. Ooh. But yeah. Let's not try to solve the world's problems here. Let's just try to have fun and make things, okay? Okay. Logically, a unified Earth is better than a divided one. Well, I don't know. I just think as human beings, it's just good to acknowledge that we should just kind of like see ourselves as all being on the same team, and we should, I don't know, look out for each other. It's a really weird thought to have, but it's my weird thought to have. Okay, so now how does these build plan? Because we've got to do extra legs. We want a box. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ooh, step 4. Yay. Grab the other box. Elbow screw. Move. There's ways to fix that. So, a slight issue has occurred, and that is, this, wait, here. Piece of wood. This box is a little bit bigger than the top box. I have a split out on my other side I have to fix, but I did not get split out on this side, so we're gonna currently address the problem in front of me. Then when we spin the table around, we'll hear the problem on the other side of the world. Carl Sagan had interesting viewpoints on that subject. Carl Sagan was just a cool dude, I think. He had that space eye view, which makes sense, yeah. Well, just seeing things from the big perspective, you know, not the little perspective. Not to make any commentary on recent events or anything, but things in the Freedom Land has been kind of lot of decisions recently have been very, just say, narrow-minded. Short-term focused. Causing problems where there aren't problems. People all want the same thing, right? Safety, comfort, friends, accept. The only thing people disagree is how they get there, but the same goes for everyone. Yes! Yes! Dazzle Shop, you get it! We all want the same goals. Is the how to make that happen. The challenge. Okay, so. I had this screw pull out on me. Marslow's theory. Yes, Marslow's heredity of needs. This is also kind of one of the reasons why I'm an absolute sucker for the types of, like, anime shows, including isekais. The ones that lean heavy into the civ building, I like those a lot. I'm gonna have to drill a new hole and set a new screw there. I was kind of hoping, because sometimes you can upsize your screw if your earlier screw pulls out, and that's not gonna work. Upsizing the screw did not work, and like that hit. And that did not hit. Give me Gundam, I'll eat from the Gundam slop drop. There is nothing wrong with Gundam, though. I'm not, like, the particularly biggest, like, watcher of Gundam, but I do love me some Gundam. I mean, I grew up on Gundam Wing, so... I grew up on Gundam Wing and G, so... Granted, I haven't seen too many of the newer ones, other than... I think I did watch all of IBO, Iron Blood Orphans, but I haven't... I don't think I've seen too many of the newer stuff. I mean, robots are cool, but robots aren't, like, the everything for me. Gundam is great. The original UC series is actually good space opera. Ah! Nice. IBO's great. How I recommend Gundam in the new fan. Yeah, I know a lot of people really like IBO. Okay. How do I want to do that? Robots and silent running work. Oh. I now gotta put the legs up here. We're getting ambitious here. Oh, snap. Right. Anything to... How well does that just stay there? Mina Okada, if it serves me right. Ah, okay. Super fluid. Okay. That's just gonna be fine. Question. This just does not That's why the 20-inchers don't fit. I have to cut those short. Ah, realize something. That's not gonna work. Damn. Well, ladies and gents, it's come to this time once again. It's time for a clamp. Darn it, why does woodworking just always have to be about clamps? All about the clamp. The humble but mighty clamp. That out before it falls down. Okay. Yep, everything's looking wonderful. And the fun thing is, at this point, since I already have one box, toolbox, I can just like go ahead and just dip holes. I want a hole. Cool. Three. Hey now. And another hole. Just knocking everything out, but unfortunately, those are my screws I need. I'm just gonna use these. They're a little bit long, but they're still not going all the way through. So just my screw colors might be a little bit inconsistent, but who cares? I'm not keeping track of my screw colors. Oh. Okay. So, a few of them I can just barely feel. Barely feel. Excuse me, I am going to be getting some water ready for tea. For what's probably going to be the last serving of tea for today. The OG UC Gundams followed the protagonists from each series to the next. Original, Zeta, Double Zeta, and Char counterattack and see the outcome of the war does to the heroes and their communities. Ooh, I actually like that idea. Because, like, Gundam Wing just kind of sort of ends. There we go. And there we go. I have assembled leg. Leg will go on roughly out. Roughly. Okay, so unfortunately needs a convincing clamp. You get the convincing clamp out, buddy. So while the clamp is still a hair bit loose, it's gonna bump an angle, it where I want it. Then I clamp it down. But hey, you know what? It's starting to look like a... It's actually starting to look like a planner now. Then I'm gonna have some water. Because my need for hydration is great. Damn you. Red Cross stealing my blood. In there. Bloop. Tea. Glorious tea. Spoilers. They condensed all of these into more digestible movies. Like, I got some pretty good size like Gundam fans in my life, and that thought just entered and disappeared immediately. Oh yeah, actually probably, I don't think I'll probably be picking up too many, like, shows, simply because I do this. Like, I have no time in my life. Shucks. The big thing I'm trying to figure out right now is finding time to get better at Go. Like, because I really need to figure out, really want to figure out a path forward on that. And also, I mentioned this earlier, but lift, turn, lift, turn. Cedar wood loves to split. So, but you know what? We're in a reasonably good spot. Next part, which involves turning this upside down. So, okay. Here's some. Okay. Good. Theoretically. But only so many hours. I mean, boy, oh boy, there's only so many. Only so many hours of daylight to skin sheep, man. Actually, wait a second. That's a little too wobbly wook. Let's get it less wobbly wookly. So few hours, so many hobbies. There's on You Get It. You get it immensely. So, I'm gonna be having really small gapping here. That I probably should have a pre-made spacer, but you know what? I'm just an amateur having fun. So, why be professional when you just have fun? Yeah. I'm gonna preset all these to pick. Oh, one of these was. Oh, I gotta take a trimming off one of the people. shorter now. Oh, it's perfect. Oh. Okay. Oh. I'm glad I pre-laid these boards. I'm glad I'm doing a pre-lay because these boards. So, my boards I have here are thicker because these are actual 6 inches across, not 5.5. So, in order to get, I'm going to have a very cement. Probably going to end up being like 1/2 inch gaps versus build plans calling for quarter, 3/4, 3/4. Man. I love how being live on stream just turns my brain off sometimes. Ooh, 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 ooh. I want you. I want you. I want you to do that. I'm just gonna pour a whole bunch of screws into it. And now I have a screw tray. Now I have a drill bit. And now we can actually start installing boards. The sweet, sweet labor-intensive process of installing boards. But that's fine. Because wood dust. Well, clogging the tip of the drill bit. But you know what? It's fine by me because we can work with it. Well, I can work. Because as long as I got enough of a pre-drill, get my screws in, then I am doing wonderful. A bit longer. I forgot I have some mixed screws. But you know, it will hold boards in fine, all the same. Actually, I can move that. Oh wow. Tea is still hot. Tea is deeply hot. We still have plenty. Well, still got work to do. I definitely did slightly underestimate the amount of time it was going to take to do this build, because boy, oh boy. I am very glad that for my lunch after this, all I have to do, it's Phillips Works. For lunch, all I have to do is go upstairs and reheat some lasagna. Because that, and also wait a second. We might be able to do something different. Yeah, we do something different. Festival. So far away. My screws are very far away. Come here. There. That's where I want you. But now, I can get to both sides of these end boards. I think I can get to both sides. Do what I can. I did not want to drill. Weird thing is like that should have been sufficiently far away from my pre-established screw points where, like, they're screwed here towards the ends of the boards, but out in the center I shouldn't be hitting any. Oh. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. We missed a pre-drilled hole badly. Very badly. Zip that in. Be close. Nailed it. Screwed it. I don't know as an uncle how good I'm allowed to get with the puns, but I definitely do enjoy my good puns. Go. Keeping on. Oh. We'll spin this, but before I worry about those. I forgot about these two behind me. Can't see them, but I can see them enough to worry about them. I'm gonna take care of them. Yeah. Gapping might not be perfect. It may not be amazing, but you know what? doesn't need to be. So who's gonna see the bottom of this thing? All they're gonna do is see the sides and out of the cedar. And I am really burning through screws. Because actually, so I actually went to an estate sale yesterday, and it's hard finding a lot of old people who screw. It's funny enough, I actually did buy these at an estate sale. That's actually kind of one of my favorite things to buy at a estate is random hardware I need for projects. And yeah, the random hardware finds have been slim pickings, man. So, whoa. See what I. Woo! Camera is at 19% battery. Battery down. That's the challenge. Anyway, we're actually most of the way there. Just this part's been really tedious. 7 boards, and each board's getting 4 screws. So that's 7 times by 4, that's 28. So, a lot of fasteners. But these fasteners are also very much needed because, well, we're putting dirt in this thing. We're putting dirt. Dirt's heavy. Okay, so I think I need this. Let's see, one moment. Yes! Now, granted, I might have to trim this. Because this is gonna. Oh, nope. No trimming needed. Yes! Trimming needed. So, drill some holes here. And this board is going to be installed with just 4 screws. And this is this is going to be an additional support. I missed. It's going to help because since these boards are going to have so much weight on them, this is just going to be like a reinforcing board to help carry the weight. So I will always retry again. there we go. I grab my drill bit before we spin this bad boy around. We're spinning it. The other side. We have to install another board. Your mind. Yep. Roughly. So, we'll try to get it a little bit fancy with this because I have an opportunity here. I thought about this when I was installing the other board, but I'm thinking for this one, rather than drill the holes from this side, I can come through on the back side, and that way I can hide my screw heads. A little bit of extra work for me, but I think it will make it look pretty. Ooh. Drill Coon sounds like they're getting tired, which is fine because I got more batteries. Got plenty of batteries. I do have my entire shop on one battery platform. There we go. Woo! Then with that takes care of that step. We can now worry about the other step. Those parts are going to be installed on the outside. And so, let's see here. So I now get to worry about installing. So I've got trim boards that are going to go over this spot right here. I've got project. Oh gosh. I had a spooky noise and I heard the noise and I was like, what? So let me line this up on the other end. As you can see, this board is sticking out a little bit past that. Reason for that is I've used I used 2x4s for my leg framing, so I need to shrink this down some. I got to figure out how much to shrink it down. So that's my first thing, because I'm gonna probably have to do this for all these trim pieces, and then. Granted, it's not much. A little bit more than 3. Let me grab that. Put my speed square. Oh. I'll put bend screws over it. Got this trimmed. Nope. Is second time the charm. Oh, it's about it. It really wants to think about it. Okay. This should be my final fit. Got just probably like an 1/8 of an inch delay. Oh yeah. Be good, George. Okay. Pencil. So this is for the other side. And it's gonna fit. Woo! We're gonna have this board. So, what I'm gonna do, well, sorry you guys can't see it, but I'm sure you guys will be fine. I'm gonna pre-drill holes. Score, my gym courts are empty. Nice. Oh man, you have fun with those empty gym courts. Man. This drill bit smokes when it's going through a knot. So. I'm going to pre-install screws. One moment. Like this. So this way, once I place it up here, I basically already have my screws set, and then I can just drive them in and make it a lot easier. And I'm also gonna be doing a thing to make it a little bit nicer looking, but more on that around this time. Well, I need to grab a level. That's what I need to do. Guys, look at this. I picked up a level. No, dumb joke, but I'm gonna position this because this is essentially a piece of trim. So level. Once I'm reasonably happy with it, grab my drill, Then I'm going to drill in one screw. Screw. So it's now kind of held. Now I come down to this side of the world. I'm going to check my level. I'm just going to make sure it's reasonably level. The reason it comes out like that, that's the screw hitting the wood, because I didn't pre-drill it. I am not. So, man, we have to pre-drill it. That's one of the issues with Cedar, is it won't pull together how you want it sometimes. Because also, another issue I have is because I have gapping on the other side. I have to hit it right spot. Sucks to get the right spot. That's what happens when you hit knots with this stuff. It will smoke. It just will. As you can see, we got a lot more flush that time, and that was because I pre-drilled like I should have. I'm hoping I can just get away. Oh. That was optimism on my part. That was deeply misplaced. That was deeply misplaced optimism. So, I'm gonna also redo my thing at the other, one of my screws at the other end, because it did not pull in. That's the thing, is I gotta make sure I hit a board on the other side. I could have just nailed it then. I think that might be better for. Still didn't pull. You know what? It's not going anywhere. It looks reasonable. That is literally the job of that one board, is to make it look nice. So let's spin this around. Perfectly honest, I am also dealing with a little bit of a grit on the other side, and some of these boards stick out, so it makes it hard for that piece of trim wood to sit flush. And yeah. Well, looks good. Oh, thank you. It's got imperfections, but I think it'll be all right. Everything. That's kind of the reason why I'm trying to go with. Well, one of the reasons I'm going with really far apart screw holes, even though this is kind of dangerous. I don't want to make sure I have my board here. And what I'm gonna do this time. What? Ah! Oh my goodness. The sizes are different. The sizes are 38 and a half over 40. Well, I have to trim a board. I have to take this to just under 38 and a quarter. That's what happens when you change a product dimension. What? Ooh. Ooh, I need a hammer. I need a hammer. Hammer! Oh, this is like really cool. Really close. Now, I'm off level a bit, but add one. Okay. So I did just now accidentally make my life very easy for me, because since it's now friction fitted, makes it very easy for this to be held in place while it zip screws in. Holy smokes, I've been live for over 3 hours. This definitely been one of the longer builds. Well, definitely by no means my but dang, this thing is gonna be stout though. Because it has been doing all the trim and some of the extra stuff out of 2x4s. And there we go. So, I now have just 2 pieces of trim. Oh, wait. Wait, that's my limiting factor. Camera's at 9% battery life. And Sugi finished this before the camera dies. That's the challenge. Need 17.5 inches. Less than 17.5. My earlier cut pieces are they're like 20 inches long, so I need to cut these guys down to 17.5. Yes. So I'll get these guys cut down. I have the same distance on both sides, so see. No, I did. Got a little bit of like wiggle. Friction fit last board. But I have lots of meat down here. I'm going to be taking advantage of that. How I'm going to take advantage of it. Bring the board up. One drill hole. Down. Two. Then roughly line it up where we want it. So, I actually did not get my holes pre-drilled, but small little divot. Oh. Beer's in the freezer, don't let me forget. Don't forget your beer in the freezer, Mr. Spock. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to throw a beer in the freezer at the end. Famous last words. So let's get this board close to an edge. Get a little bit of a screw in it, flip it around. Grab the second screw. And holding. Get my screw out just a little bit. Up. Hold. Not hit the. You break like that. Looks bad. That's the hard part with sometimes when you have a hole on the other side that you gotta hit. A little hard to think. I don't think it's necessary, but I am a fool. I am a over and over. So we're gonna drill. So we've got these two screws that are in our side box panel. We're gonna zip one screw into this panel. And that's perfect. It's perfect. It's great. This camera's at 7%. Let's move in. Because the clock's a ticking. Clock's a ticking. I did not consistently set it. It's a hair bit less than 19. Whoops. Circular saw isn't going to work without its battery that I swiped for my drill. See if this fits. Yeah, it's a tight but fits. Great. Aha. That's what I like, because this means I can bust out Hammer Coon. Okay, let's... Yeah. Yeah, Hammer Coon for the win. Thank you. Because the great thing about these friction fits is, one, the fit's good. Two, holds my board while I drill. I did not have to fiddly dee with any boards. I did not have to mess with anything. All I gotta do is... There we go. And... there we go. Now, one moment. Let's see here. How do I want to... Guys back. Yes. Perfect. So. Gosh, this thing's stout. Oh. 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 Sugi has some level of physical strength. But... there we go! Planter! It took 3.5 hours, but I now have a cedar planter. Now, cedar planter is technically not 100% finished. Build plans do call for some trim to go around the edges, make everything look really pretty. But man, killed a drill battery, and we have nearly killed a GoPro battery. So, and also speaking of things that are, well, nearly dead, is I've been consuming a lot of tea, and yeah, my bladder's being very fussy at me for that. But I need to add some trim to this. But the build plans also called for the trim to be like custom cut to the thing, so that's why I haven't did any of the like trim work yet. So, and that's just gonna go over all this stuff and just make it look. But, whew. But yeah. Thank you very much, Dad's Old Shop, for the claps, and you too, Zerzon. I gotta say, so I donated blood yesterday. I'm hungry. I need to use the little homesteader's room. I want to say thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in today. I gotta say, this was pretty fun build. I actually really like the size of this thing. Like it's definitely a good bit of room. I could probably definitely grow a pretty good handful of herbs in here. But it's also not so big where it's also like hard to move and stuff like that. So, whew. Also, thank you for tuning in, Mr. Spock, Dad's Old Shop, Zerzon, Haggleforth, Juby. Thank you very much, everyone. May you have a great rest of your Sunday afternoon. If you like drinking beer, I hope you have a beer. Now I'm going to go throw a beer in my freezer. And don't forget about yours, Mr. Spock. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.